What's up, Golden State fan? It's hard to hold back the anxiety for Game 3, right? And the main question still hangs in the air. Will Jimmy Butler be on the court? Ever since that controversial play at the beginning of Game 2 against Houston, the fan base has been on high alert. In that moment, Amen Thompson ended up getting underneath Jimmy during a rebound battle that, let's be honest, was totally accidental. The result, however, was worrying. Jimmy took a hard fall, landing flat on his back and hitting his tailbone, which forced him to leave the game immediately. Since then, updates about his physical condition have trickled in slowly. Journalist Shams Charania revealed that the diagnosis was a severe gluteal contusion, an injury that may sound simple in name but comes with a lot of pain and limitations. And it's no exaggeration to say that his presence in Game 3 is seriously in doubt. The use of the term "at serious risk" by sources close to the situation indicates a high possibility he won't be available. Despite the scare, imaging tests brought some relief. There's no fracture or structural damage. That's undoubtedly the best news possible in an otherwise grim scenario. Now, his recovery depends solely on pain management and how his body responds to intensive treatment in these days leading up to the crucial game. And this injury isn't new to the roster. Throughout the season, other players on the team have dealt with the same issue. Stephen Curry and Jonathan Kuminga both went through it. The point guard missed 2 games, and the young forward missed 1. After that, it all came down to pain tolerance. Speaking of Kuminga, it's impossible not to notice his recent drop in performance. It's hard to say whether it's still the after effects of the injury or something else, but the negative impact on the court is clear. Back to Jimmy. The situation is critical. If he doesn't play, the team loses its main reference point in several aspects. In Game 1, he was absolutely essential to Golden State's victory. He scored 25 points, was consistent on offense by drawing fouls, converting mid-range shots, and playing with that cerebral, game-controlling style. Not to mention his 5 steals, turning defense into fast breaks with precision. And in the paint, he fought like a lion, grabbing 7 rebounds and helping to control an area where the Warriors have struggled significantly in this series. Jimmy isn't just about scoring. He connects the whole team. He acts as a facilitator, working from the high post, drawing defenders, and creating open shots for his teammates. His absence directly impacts the team's rhythm. When he left Game 2 with the injury, that became painfully obvious. The offense stalled, creativity disappeared, leadership was lacking. The team started forcing plays, got disorganized, and it was clear just how indispensable he is. Steve Kerr also had an additional issue with Brandon Podziemski, who couldn't play due to illness. They even tried putting him on the court, but it was clear he wasn't in condition to contribute. That forced the coach to look for options on the bench, which unfortunately didn't have the expected impact. And with no Jimmy, no Pods, and Kuminga underperforming, the Warriors were in deep trouble in Game 2. Draymond Green commented on the play that led to the injury. He was very direct in saying it was all part of a natural play for the ball, with zero malicious intent. He was just trying to stop Amen Thompson's drive into the paint when suddenly he saw his teammate on the ground in obvious pain. According to Draymond, he didn't even notice the exact moment Jimmy fell. This shows that in physical and intense playoff games like this, accidents happen. The important thing is not to create conspiracy theories about pushes or unsportsmanlike conduct. That only distracts the team. Back to Jimmy's recovery. Journalist Anthony Slater also shared an update saying Butler is being closely monitored and the medical staff is evaluating his condition daily. His current status is truly questionable, meaning it's not just a smokescreen to mislead the opponent. There is, in fact, a significant chance he won't be ready to play. On the other hand, there are reasons for optimism. When he left the arena, Jimmy looked better than when he was first being treated in the tunnel. He walked more firmly, limping less. And considering the kind of player he is, tough, determined, fiercely competitive, it wouldn't be surprising to see him push for a return, even if he's not 100%. In fact, Jimmy's agent left a message for the fans. Pray for the Bear. That shows they're confident that if not in Game 3, he'll be back shortly after. But missing more than one game could be fatal for Golden State. This is a short, balanced series, and every absence weighs heavily. Fans know what Jimmy has been capable of in past postseasons, like when he faced the Bucks while injured and still dropped 50 and 46 points in back-to-back games. His mentality is different. Fan support could make all the difference. And right now, Dub Nation needs to unite, send good vibes, and root for Jimmy's return. The team needs him. The city needs him. If he has the minimum condition to play, even in pain, it's likely he'll suit up and make the sacrifice. But everything depends on how he progresses over these next few days before Saturday. Now, imagining a scenario where Jimmy really doesn't play, the question is, who's going to fill that gap? The natural answer would be Jonathan Kuminga. But is he ready for that responsibility? Does he truly understand the weight of the moment? In Game 2, Kuminga scored 11 points, but not efficiently. Most of those points came in garbage time, when the result was already practically decided. His shooting was poor. He missed easy shots, had defensive lapses, and failed to contest key rebounds. Even more worrying was his post-game comment when asked if he was prepared to take on a bigger role. His response was curt. "I hate when everyone keeps telling me to be ready. I already know that. The more they say it, the more annoying it gets." That comes off as a lack of focus. This moment demands maturity and commitment. Kuminga is undeniably talented, and he's had brilliant performances against Houston before, but right now he seems disconnected. He can't produce alongside experienced players like Curry or even Draymond. His attitude raises questions, and the fans are losing patience. Curry has been doing his part, trying to guide the young player during practice, giving tips on positioning, intensity, and play timing. But in the end, it's the player who steps onto the court. And Kuminga needs to decide whether he'll become a reliable contributor or remain just a prospect with occasional flashes. If Jimmy doesn't play, Golden State will face major challenges in creating offense. The roster has other options, but none offer the impact and balance that Butler brings. The ball will be even more in Steph's hands, and he's already carrying the team a lot. Even he needs support. Draymond will also need to step up, not just on defense, but in playmaking, finding the right pass, and mentally taking control of the game. By the way, Game 3 marks the first playoff return to the Chase Center since 2023. The fans need to show up, wear the jersey, pack the stands, and create a hostile environment for Houston. Golden State needs this unwavering support now more than ever. The mistakes from Game 2 cannot be repeated. Turnovers were excessive. Draymond and Curry combined for more than 10. The opponent's offensive rebounds were countless, and most importantly, they can't let Jalen Green get going again. He's been the only Rockets player to really find an offensive rhythm so far. If that happens again and Jimmy's out, the damage could be huge. Golden State knows that the challenge of Game 3 is no small feat. Jimmy Butler's absence could completely change the course of the series, and the internal concern is evident. While there is optimism about his possible return, the team already needs to devise realistic strategies in case he isn't physically ready. The coaching staff is keeping an eye on the signs, Butler walking better, the absence of structural damage, but until the final minutes before the game, nothing will be guaranteed. Steve Kerr, in conversations with the press, has taken a cautious approach, preferring not to give away too many clues. That's part of the game, too. He knows that every bit of information can be used by the opponent. Houston is paying attention. They know that with Jimmy out, their chance of stealing a road game increases significantly. And in a balanced series like this, every detail matters. So the question now is not just whether Jimmy will play, but how the team will react if he can't. This is where the big question for the fans comes in. Who can really step up? We've talked about Kuminga, but other names are also on the front lines. Podziemski, for example, is a player who has shown energy, game reading, and skill, despite the health issue that kept him out of Game 2. If he's 100%, he could be crucial, both to space the floor and offer defensive aggression. Moses Moody could also have a golden opportunity here. He's the kind of player who, although not in the spotlight, can shine when least expected. He has a good shooting mechanics, is disciplined, and above all knows how to play within a system. If Kerr trusts him with minutes, the response must be immediate. There's no time for experiments or attempts. Another critical point is defense. Jimmy Butler is not only important offensively, he is the emotional leader and the defensive pillar of the team. Without him, the entire system becomes more vulnerable. Against a team that has an explosive guard like Jalen Green and a dominant center like Alperen Sengun, the Warriors will need to be impeccable in their rotations. Any mistake, any second of inattention, and Houston will punish them. Draymond Green will have to stretch even more. He already stretches himself 3 ways, but now he will have to do it 4. He will need to control the paint, lead the defense, and at the same time have the patience to initiate the offense. The margin for error is minimal. If he rushes, forces passes, or loses emotional control, the team will collapse. And speaking of patience, Steph Curry is also at that point in the season where he can't hesitate anymore. The testing phase is behind him. With or without Jimmy, he will have to take responsibility for leading the team to victory. In Game 2, even being heavily guarded, he found ways to score and attract the defense. But with Butler's absence, everything falls even more on him. He will have to create for himself, but mainly for others. He will need to find the open shooters, understand the right moments to speed up and slow down the game. The Chase Center will be packed, but the atmosphere will depend on the energy inside the court. And the team will need a strong start, something they haven't managed yet in this series. Falling behind the score from the first minutes could be fatal. Houston feels that and grows. And Golden State needs to set the pace right away, press, hit the first three-pointer, force turnovers, show they are in control, even without their biggest reinforcement of the season. And this point needs to be clear. The team cannot step onto the court already lamenting the possible absence of Jimmy. If he's out, so be it. But those who are on the court need to play as if they were defending every inch of it. There can't be doubt, there can't be apathy. Fans will sense any sign of emotional fragility, and that demotivates. On the other hand, if the team shows effort, grit, even in mistakes, the whole arena will respond. It is in these types of scenarios that great moments are born, that a young player can become a hero, that an underrated player can change his narrative. Game 3 is more than just a playoff game. It's a turning point for the season, a watershed. Either the Warriors prove they can overcome adversity and stay alive, or they give way to a Houston team that's increasingly confident, loose, and aggressive. By the way, don't be fooled. Houston is playing like an underdog. No one expected this much from them, and that gives them freedom. Jalen Green is flying. Sengun is imposing himself, and even the bench players are playing with ease. This is dangerous, because when a team starts to believe they can win even as an underdog, they become unpredictable. That's why Golden State needs to be the smartest team on the court. Limit turnovers, as we've discussed. Control the rebounds, use bench minutes wisely, and above all, maintain composure. Without Jimmy, the chance of panicking during the game increases. But the Warriors are an experienced team. They know how to handle pressure. They just need to remember that. The fans will do their part, especially if the team gives them reasons to do so. The expectation is that the Chase Center will be buzzing. Fans want a show, but they also know how to recognize effort and dedication, and they will repay it. What cannot happen is for the team to come out disconnected. If that happens, the night will be long. Now, if Jimmy is available, even if in limited minutes, the team's morale changes completely. Him being on the court changes the game's dynamics. Even with pain, he draws the defense's attention, opens up space for others, organizes the offense, strengthens the defense. Just his presence changes everything. The opposing coach knows this. Houston knows this. And the fans know this too. That's why, if Jimmy can play, even if he's not 100%, it will already be a huge boost, even psychologically carrying for the team. The truth is, this is the time of the season when the great players stand out. And Golden State will need all of its veterans, young players, and role players united as one team. Because what's at stake goes beyond the result. It's the team's identity. It's showing that there's still hope. If Golden State wants to keep the season alive, It needs to make Game 3 a turning point. A home loss is not an option, and for that, the game plan must be clear, direct, and executed flawlessly. The first key lies in defense. With or without Jimmy Butler, the Warriors must control the perimeter. In the first 2 games of the series, Jalen Green had way too much freedom. When he finds space to drive or shoot uncontested, he destroys defenses. The ideal would be to contain the first line of attack in the middle of the court, forcing Houston to play in a half-court set, removing the fast tempo they love to impose. Klay Thompson, despite being in a quiet phase, needs to bring the defensive experience he still carries. He may not be the same player physically, but his basketball IQ is unquestionable. Understanding reads, anticipating plays, and making the right closeouts may be more important than simply scoring points. In the paint, Looney and Draymond will have to rotate with intensity to try to slow down Sengun. He's smart, has good court vision, and knows how to punish even the smallest defensive mistake. You can't let him get comfortable with the ball in his hands. Constant pressure, physical contact, and most importantly, quick coverage when he tries to initiate cuts to the basket or passes outside the paint. Defensive help must be instantaneous, but if defense is the foundation, offense will need to be the soul of victory. And this is the moment when Curry, once again, needs to remind the world who he is. He doesn't need to score 40 points, though that would help, but he needs to be the maestro. Distribute the ball, draw the defense, manipulate it as only he knows how. If Curry can involve his teammates and still maintain his scoring level, the Warriors' offense will flow. For that to happen, the ball movement must be fast. The Warriors are lethal when they pass with agility and find open shooters. The famous ball movement until the right shot is found. The ball needs to touch more hands, no forced isolations or broken plays. Team play needs to be the main character. Andrew Wiggins has an important mission too. He has already shown he knows how to step up when needed most. And in this Game 3, the Warriors need the most aggressive, confident, and physical version of Wiggins. Cuts with speed, offensive rebounds, tough defense, and above all, consistency. If he can play at his best rhythm, the whole team will rise. From the bench, energy is expected. Moses Moody, if he gets minutes, must take advantage. Gary Payton-Tiku, if healthy, is another essential name for defense. He can be used to smother Jalen Green or to prevent Houston's penetrations. It's these small details, these fine adjustments that make the difference in a playoff game. And of course, we can't ignore the mental factor. This is a battle both physical and emotional. If the Warriors start making too many mistakes, if Houston gains an early lead, nerves might start to set in. That's why the first quarter is crucial. It's the time to establish territory, show intensity, and get the crowd into the game. The absence of Butler, if confirmed, might initially shake things up, but the team needs to see it as an opportunity, not an excuse. The locker room message must be clear. We're not waiting for anyone to come save us, we're on our own. And that mentality needs to be reflected in every loose ball, every sprint back on defense, every contested shot attempt. Coach Steve Kerr plays a vital role in this. He knows that the group's morale is directly tied to the confidence he instills. His rotation decisions, tactical adjustments, and even the way he communicates with players during timeouts will shape the team's behavior on the court. It's not an exaggeration to say that a poorly calculated decision could cost the game, but likewise, a bold and precise choice could change everything. This is the moment. There is no more room for doubt. Either the Warriors show they are still a team capable of fighting, or the season may begin slipping away, and the fans know this. The crowd will pack the arena not just to watch, but to push, to carry the team through tough moments, to show that the franchise's pride is still alive. The Chase Center can and must become a cauldron, but that only happens if the team delivers intensity from the first second. Game 3 is, without exaggeration, the most important moment of the season so far. And it could be the first chapter of a historic turnaround or the sign of an early end. Now the question is, which Warriors will step onto the court? The one that dominates, commands respect, and plays like a champion? Or the confused team that relies too much on a key player to function? The basketball world is about to witness a potential significant shift in the NBA landscape, and this twist could come directly from the Pacific. Recent reports suggest that the Golden State Warriors, one of the league's most influential franchises, are conducting discreet negotiations to sign Kai Sotto, the 2.18-meter-tall Filipino center, to join their roster for the 2025 season. This news has sparked great excitement among fans and analysts, not only because of the technical contribution Sotto may offer, but also due to the strong cultural symbolism his presence carries. If confirmed, this signing goes beyond the idea of just a sports reinforcement. It represents a strategic step that could redefine the ties between the San Francisco team and one of the largest fan bases spread around the world, especially in Asia. Kai Sotto is not just a standout athlete due to his height or the unique skills he showcases on the court. He reflects an inspiring journey that began in the Philippines, within a culture where basketball is more than a sport. It's a national passion. From a young age, Kai showed signs that he could achieve something extraordinary. As the years went by, he not only grew physically but also technically, proving to be much more than a traditional post player. His modern profile, which combines wingspan, mobility, and a reliable mid-range shot, has been catching the attention of NBA scouts and executives. Today's basketball requires versatility, and Kai seems to have been shaped with this new mentality in mind. He can impact the game both defensively, with his ability to block shots and protect the rim, and offensively, where he offers a wider range of possibilities by stepping away from the fixed center stereotype. His international journey is further proof of his adaptability and growth. Leaving the Philippines as a teenager, Sotto showed courage and vision, opting to develop his career in more competitive environments. His first major international experience was in the Australian League, the NBL, where he faced physically imposing opponents with high technical levels. Even at a young age, he stood out for his presence on defense and contributions on offense. Later, when he moved to the Japanese B-League, his game matured even more. There, he not only solidified his role as one of the league's best athletes, but also became a reference figure, proudly representing his Filipino roots. This journey, marked by challenges and overcoming obstacles, has earned Kai Sotto respect not only for what he does on the court, but also for what he represents off of it. In a scenario where the NBA is looking to expand its international influence, having a player with global appeal, especially in a market as engaged as the Filipino one, is a rare opportunity. And the Warriors, always attentive to innovation both on and off the court, seem to have seen this clearly. From a technical standpoint, his arrival could fill gaps that have been long discussed by analysts and fans of the team. The lack of a dominant center who combines physical strength and tactical intelligence has been pointed out as one of the recurring weaknesses of the roster. Kai, with his combination of size, coordination, and game-reading ability, fits exactly into this profile. He has the potential to be a reliable rim protector, offering an intimidating presence in the paint, while also contributing offensively with accurate mid-range shots and even smart passes that help the flow of plays. More than that, he could strengthen the team's offensive transition, helping with defensive rebounds that start fast breaks and continuing the fast, fluid style that has become the Warriors' trademark in recent years. His versatility would allow the coach to adjust the rotation more freely, offering tactical variations that would be hard to contain. Symbolically and culturally, Kai Sotto's arrival would represent a historic moment. The Bay Area, where the team is based, is home to one of the largest Filipino communities outside of the Philippines, which would create an immediate connection between fans and player. It would be a natural union, with the potential to attract even more fans to the Chase Center, the team's modern arena, as well as increased digital engagement and media coverage of the team in new markets. The impact goes beyond the sport. The signing of Kai could be understood as a strategic move that reinforces the franchise's global positioning. The Warriors have always been at the forefront of marketing, innovation, and inclusion, and Kai Sotto, as a global figure, fits perfectly into this project. With his presence, the team would not only strengthen its image as a multicultural team, but also open doors for business partnerships with brands interested in reaching the Asian market. Moreover, it's hard to ignore the inspiring potential of this journey. For young people in the Philippines and other developing countries, seeing Kai Sotto being signed by an NBA giant is concrete proof that bold dreams can be achieved with effort, talent, and perseverance. His story of overcoming challenges and discipline would inspire a new generation of athletes to pursue their goals, even if they seem distant at first. On the court, Kai wouldn't be alone. By joining a team with experienced players, he would have the chance to develop even further. Under the guidance of coach Steve Kerr, known for his ability to bring out the best in each player, Sotto would have access to a solid technical structure, focused not just on immediate results, but on long-term growth. Kerr's philosophy is not just to win, but to form complete athletes who understand the game and can make decisions with confidence. Another crucial point is the chance for Sotto to learn from the veterans on the team. Players like Stephen Curry and Draymond Green offer more than just talent on the court. They are examples of leadership, work ethic, and commitment to the team. For Kai, sharing the locker room with these figures would be a valuable opportunity for practical learning, absorbing the experience of those who have already been through major decisions and carried the team in crucial moments. Draymond, for example, is a defensive and game-reading specialist. His ability to guide teammates and command the defense in real time could serve as an intensive course for Kai, accelerating his adaptation to the intensity and complexity of NBA play. Similarly, being around Curry would allow Sotto to understand up close the mindset of an athlete who revolutionized modern basketball. In the context of the current roster, Kai would bring unique characteristics that would expand the team's range of possibilities. He could be used in taller lineups, reinforcing the paint, or even in lighter schemes, using his mobility to guard players in switches and coverages. His potential as a facilitator on offense, through passes and smart movements, would also fit well into the offensive system based on cuts and fast movements. By joining the Golden State Warriors, Kai wouldn't just be taking another step in his career. He would be writing a new chapter in NBA history, where a young player from the Philippines breaks boundaries and joins one of the most iconic franchises in world basketball. His name would become part of a select group of players who not only wore the jersey of a great team, but also contributed to expanding the global reach of the sport. So, did you like the video? Then leave a like to support the channel and subscribe so you don't miss any updates. Also, hit the bell to get all the content firsthand. Thanks for watching and see you next time.